Hey guys, it's Catherine from 85th and Pine, and today I'm going to be making some back to school themed items. It's going to include this pencil holder. I have a pencil with an engraved saying on here, the eraser of the pencil, and then it kind of goes around with another pencil and the eraser again. And I also have some engraved pencils. And I'll be doing that with a pencil jig that I made that I'll be showing you how to do as well. And I also have some engraved rulers. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start assembling the pencil holder, and I'm just going to be using Gorilla wood glue for this. So first I'm going to put all the sides together, and then I'm going to put the bottom on last. And I'm also going to be using some clamps to hold it together while it dries. Okay, so now I'm going to work on my pencil jig in order to engrave the pencils that I have. So I'm just going to make a jig out of this cardboard that I have here. You can do it with wood or even acrylic, but I didn't want to waste any wood or acrylic that I had. So I just took some cardboard that I had out of my recycling bin and tore it apart. And so I put it in here, and I also pinned it down because it wasn't flat. So now it's as flat as possible. And I have my pencils over here that I'm going to be putting in after I cut out my jig for it. So let's go ahead and head to my computer to show you the next step. Okay, so now we're at my computer on the Glowforge app, and I already uploaded my jig that I created on Inkscape. And I have 15 slots here for 15 pencils. That's not just how the file is going to be if you go to purchase it on my Etsy shop. But I'm only going to engrave 5 pencils in this video. But I'm just going to show you how to cut this jig out of the cardboard. So I have it centered on the cardboard, and over to the left side here, I'm going to select my cardboard setting that I created. And for this, I use 350 speed, full power, 1 pass, auto focus height. And I'm also going to put in uncertified material. The thickness, I'm just going to leave it at 0.125 inches. Just kind of a guesstimate for that. But I did try it out before, and it does work. So we're going to go with that. And then I have my little phrases over here that I'm going to engrave on the pencils that I'm going to show you in the next step. But first we're going to cut this out, and then we will go from there. Okay, now I have my jig cut, but I'm going to leave it exactly where it's at because I don't want it to move in order to put my pencils exactly where I want them engraved. So I am going to just take out all of these little slots right here because that's where I'm going to put the pencils in. But everything else I'm just going to leave as is and keep it in there for the engraving process. Okay, now I took out the first 5 slots just because I'm going to put 5 pencils in, obviously. So I just centered them as perfectly as I could. They fit pretty snugly, so that's the point of the jig, to hold them into place. So now let's go back to the computer and I will show you the next step. Okay, so we're back to the computer. So as you can see, I did not move anything in the machine, and I'm not going to move this jig off of my computer screen because I'm going to try to line it up with these words or phrases as best as possible. So I'm just going to drag over each one of my phrases and put them exactly where I want them. And I'm going to make sure it is lined up right in between the slots, because it's going to print properly since I did not move anything. So I want them in between these slots, and just to make them as even as possible. So once I have them all lined up, I'm going to go ahead and click on the jig over here and click ignore because I don't want that cut anymore. It already cut, so I'm just going to ignore that step. And then I'm going to go over to the engraved phrases and select my pencil engrave setting that I have here. And I just have it at 1000 speed, 75 power, 270 LPI, and 1 pass. Just play with it. If you need to adjust your own settings, you might need to test it out first. So once I have all of my phrases set up where I want them, I'm going to go ahead and click print and we'll go from there. Alright, so that's it. I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. As I said before, you can play around with the settings if you want it darker or however you want to do it, but I would test it out first just to make sure the settings are right for you. Alright, I hope that was helpful for you. If you're interested in making these yourself, I'll have the files in the description box below on where you can purchase them. It's including the jig, the rulers, which I'll have in 3 different designs and 2 different measurements. I'll have it in 6 inches and 12 inches as well. And I'll have this pencil holder on there as well. And if you have any questions, let me know. If you plan to buy your own Glowforge, please feel free to use my referral code. That will be listed in the description box below on where you can get money off. Plus, I would get credits too, which mean my family truly appreciate. So thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.